Welcome back. We've explored people who love to spend, people who love to save, and people who love to invest. Now let's talk about a personality type that gets a bad reputation, but actually has some surprising strengths: the debtor. Before we dive in, I want to be really clear about something. If you identify with this personality type, I'm not here to shame you or make you feel bad about your financial choices. Debt can be a tool, and some of the most successful people in the world have used debt strategically to build wealth and create opportunities. If you're a debtor, your motto might be something like, "I'll figure it out later," or "You have to spend money to make money." You're comfortable with the idea of using borrowed money to fund your goals, your lifestyle, or your opportunities, and you're generally optimistic about your ability to pay it back in the future. Let's start with what makes debtors actually quite powerful in certain situations, because there are some real strengths here that other personality types could learn from. First, debtors are often excellent at leveraging opportunities. While a saver might pass up a great business opportunity because they don't have the cash on hand, you're willing to borrow money to invest in education, start a business, or buy real estate that could generate long-term wealth. You also tend to be optimistic about the future, which can be a huge advantage. You believe your income will grow, that opportunities will come your way, and that you'll be able to handle whatever financial challenges arise. That confidence can actually help create the success you're expecting. Many debtors are also willing to invest in themselves in ways other personality types aren't. You might take out loans for education, professional development, or business ventures because you understand that these investments can pay dividends for decades. And here's something interesting. Debtors often have a higher risk tolerance than other personalities, which can lead to bigger rewards when things go well. You're not paralyzed by the possibility of failure, which means you're more likely to take calculated risks that can lead to significant financial gains. But let's be honest about where this personality type can run into serious trouble, because the risks are real and the consequences can be severe. The biggest challenge for debtors is accumulating high-interest consumer debt that becomes a financial burden rather than a strategic tool. Credit card debt at 18 or 24% interest isn't an investment. It's a wealth destroyer that can trap you in a cycle of minimum payments and growing balances. Many debtors also struggle with what I call optimism bias. You might consistently underestimate how long it will take to pay off debt or overestimate your future income. That voice in your head saying, "I'll have more money next week," can lead to a dangerous pattern of borrowing against a future that doesn't always materialize the way you expect. There's also the cash flow problem. When a large portion of your income is going to debt payments every month, you have less flexibility to handle emergencies, take advantage of opportunities, or build wealth through saving and investing. Some debtors also fall into what's called the minimum payment trap. You get comfortable making the minimum payment on credit cards or loans without realizing that you're paying mostly interest and barely touching the principal balance. This could turn what could be short-term debt into a long-term financial obligation. And finally, there's the stress factor. High levels of debt can create constant background anxiety about money, strain relationships, and limit your career choices because you need to maintain a certain income level just to keep up with your obligations. Let's see if this personality resonates with you. I want you to answer these 5 questions honestly, and remember, there's no judgment here. Question 1. Do you regularly carry a balance on your credit cards? 2. Have you ever taken out loans for vacations or non-essential items? 3. Do you often think, "I'll have more money next month" when making purchases? 4. Are you comfortable with monthly payment plans for purchases? And 5. Do you sometimes use one credit card to pay another? If you answered yes to 3 or more of these questions, you likely have strong debtor tendencies. And that's okay. The goal isn't to never use debt. It's to use debt strategically instead of letting debt use you. Let's talk about strategies that help debtors harness their natural optimism and risk tolerance while protecting themselves from the downsides of excessive debt. First, and this is crucial, you need to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt helps you build wealth or increase your earning potential. Things like mortgages, student loans for valuable degrees, or business loans that generate income. Bad debt is high-interest debt for consumption. Credit cards for vacations, personal loans for cars that you can't afford, or store financing for furniture and electronics. The strategy then is simple. Aggressively pay off bad debt while being more strategic about good debt. This brings us to what's called the debt avalanche method. List all your debts by interest rate from highest to lowest. Make minimum payments on everything, but put every extra dollar towards the debt with the highest interest rate. Why? Because the 18% credit card debt is costing you way more than your 4% student loan. By eliminating high interest debt first, you free up more money to tackle the remaining balances. And here's another strategy that works really well for debtors. Consider debt consolidation options. If you have multiple credit cards with high interest rates, you might be able to get a personal loan at a lower rate to pay them all off. Or you might qualify for a balance transfer credit card with a 0% promotional rate. The key is to use these tools to reduce your interest costs, not to free up more credit for spending. When you consolidate debt, cut up the old credit cards or at least remove them from your wallet and online accounts. Now, I know this might feel restrictive, but I want you to try something. Implement cash-only periods for discretionary spending. Pick one category, maybe it's restaurants or entertainment or shopping, and use only cash for that category for 1 month. This isn't about punishment, it's about awareness. When you have to physically hand over cash, spending feels a little different than swiping a credit card or clicking a buy now button. This can help you reconnect with the reality of your spending and break some automatic habits. Here's another crucial strategy. Focus on income acceleration alongside debt reduction. Your natural optimism about the future can be channeled into concrete actions to increase your earning potential. Maybe that's asking for a raise or starting a side hustle. Maybe you want to freelance in your spare time or develop skills that make you more valuable in the job market. The beautiful thing about increasing your income is that it gives you more options. You can pay off debt faster or build an emergency fund. You can still have money left over for the experiences and opportunities that matter to you. I also want you to start tracking your debt to income ratio every month. This is simply your total monthly debt payments divided by your gross monthly income. If the number is over 36%, you're in the danger zone and need to focus seriously on debt reduction. But here's the thing, track this number to stay accountable, not to beat yourself up. The goal is progress, not perfection. Let me recommend some specific tools that work really well for debtors. First, use debt payoff calculators to see exactly how much your debt is costing you and how different payment strategies will affect your timeline. Seeing that paying an extra $50 per month can save you thousands in interest could be incredibly motivating. For credit card management, look into apps like Tally, which can help you optimize your payments across multiple credit cards and even provide lower interest loans to pay off high interest credit card debt. And for budgeting with debt payments, try apps like YNAB or Every Dollar that help you allocate every dollar of income to specific purposes, including debt reduction. When you see exactly where your money is going, it's easier to find opportunities to accelerate your debt payoff. Here's what I want you to remember. Your willingness to take risks and invest in opportunities is actually a huge strength. Many wealthy people have used debt strategically to build businesses, buy real estate, and create multiple income streams. The key is learning to distinguish between debt that moves you forward and debt that holds you back. Use your natural optimism to fuel concrete actions that improve your financial situation rather than just hoping things will work out on their own. Start with just one high-interest debt and focus all your energy on eliminating it. Once you experience the relief and momentum of paying off that first balance, you'll have the motivation to tackle the rest. And remember, your current debt situation doesn't define your financial future. You have the personality traits that can lead to real wealth building. You just need systems and strategies that work with your natural tendencies. Your optimism and willingness to take calculated risks are assets, not liabilities. Just make sure you're taking smart risks that build wealth rather than risks that create financial stress. In our next module, we're going to explore a completely different personality type, the money avoider. These are people who find financial topics stressful or boring or would rather not think about money at all. Even if that doesn't sound like you, you'll learn some strategies for simplifying financial management that could benefit everyone. I'll see you there.